What's going on, Yankee fans? This is Alex coming in from NYYNEWS, and going to go over a trade idea that to me makes too much sense to ignore. So the big elephant in the room, clearly Aaron Hicks and Josh Donaldson. Ultimately, they're useless to us. Let's be real here. They got a lot of money tied up, and nobody wants them. And as you all know, baseball contracts are not like football contracts. You can't just cut them and get them off the books. If we could, it'd have been done a long time ago. But here we are. We're stuck with these arbitrage contracts. So, first and foremost, the only way to really move on from bad contracts in baseball is if you, one, pay off some of the deal with them, which is not going to help if you pay $20 million of the total of Donaldson and Hicks going somewhere else. That might help entice the team to take on that bill. But they also don't provide any value, so that's kind of out there. That's probably not going to happen. Another way is if we throw in extra prospects in order to sweeten the deal, in order for another team to actually want to do that, take on our bills while getting a decent prospect from us, which also doesn't make too much sense because of two reasons. One, we keep prospect hugging for some reason or another. But two, just in case you aren't aware, I hate to break it to you, but the Yankee prospects are not valued that high among the league. If you know, our top prospect, who's ranked 5th overall on MLB Pipeline, is also rated the second most overrated prospect. So take that for what it's worth. The other way, and the way that I believe will make a lot of sense, is if we send these bad contracts to another team for their bad contracts. So you got to find a way to make the deal make sense in some regard. Ultimately, Donaldson, at the very least, can play elite defense. And I like to think that if he's ever traded from the Yankees, we'll also, in his severance, give him his balls back that the Yankees basically castrated from him after the whole Tim Anderson bullshit that he had to go through. I don't want to get into that, but it is what it is. Hicks is completely useless. My grandmother could do any aspect of baseball better than him, and just so you're all aware, she's been dead for 10 years. So there you go. They hold no value, and if we want to win, we can't be going in with those guys at third base and left field. As of right now, that's what our starting lineup is looking like they're going to be playing. So my idea, my trade proposal to a team that also has a bad contract, Colorado Rockies, Kris Bryant. Now, we should all know Kris Bryant. He's a big name. He's a part of the team of the Chicago Cubs that were able to break the curse and move on. Looking at Kris Bryant, he's a little bit older now. He's 32, I believe, maybe going into his 33-year-old season. He missed a lot of time last year. He only played in 42 games. He had a lot of random injuries. Nothing that I believe would be a real big concern moving forward. That doesn't mean it's not possible, but you only play 42 games. You're playing about a third of a season. I mean, it's not that impressive. Now, the other aspect of it is the contract. So Kris Bryant signed a 7-year, $182 deal a year ago, I believe that's what it was. He currently has 6 years and $156 at a $27 million a year salary tax or luxury tax hit. So just straight, now mind you, you might have to float, a prospect here or there, but clearly it's going to be based around the money. If you send Hicks and Donaldson 100% of the money, that's 3 years of obligations for $57 million. 30 years to Colorado for $57 million. The first year, they would be paying $37 million. And then those next 2 years, they'd only be paying 10 because Donaldson's contract is over after this year. Thank God. Bryant clearly will be taking on 6 more years of Kris Bryant, which he's not a guarantee he'd work out, but 6 years at $27 million. So the first year, we're actually going to save $10 million where we can maybe add a bullpen arm or maybe add a Jurickson Profar. It would actually fit the salary that way. But over the course of the entire debt, the Hicks-Donaldson move would save $100 million for the Colorado Rockies. And we got to realize the fact that the Rockies are not competing anytime soon. They're in the toughest division in baseball, And they never even seem to really try, to be perfectly honest with you. I call it as I see it. But Kris Bryant to the Yankees could make a lot of sense. If he can stay healthy, you're going to have that dynamic, first and foremost, of Rizzo and Bryant coming back. I mean, I personally couldn't care less about it. I want him to perform, but sure, if you like that, it'll be a good post. The New York Post can write about it. Go nuts. But he is a third baseman. We could use a third baseman. He can also play left field. So if for those of us that are dying to get Manny Machado next year when he opts out of his contract, he's not going to block pulling off a Machado deal because Bryant can move to left field if that's the route we choose to take. Also, a change of scenery. Kris Bryant, I mean, what do you have to play for in Colorado? If you're going to a team that's winning, you get to play with your boy Rizzo again. Maybe it can help entice him to, get that juice back, get that spark back going. And the Rockies, why would you do it? I mean, one, you're not competing. It's not going to happen. I mean, you could tell your fans whatever you want, but you're not going to compete anytime soon. And just so we're all clear, Nolan Arenado, the other third baseman, the one that they traded away, he is their third highest paid player on that team next year. Just so we're all clear. They traded away Nolan Arenado. He's their third highest paid player on their team. And they're paying Kris Bryant a lot more for a lot less production. Let's just call it as we see it. So, yeah, this would be a 100% money move. Maybe we can get a spark going, getting a Kris Bryant into a team that would actually be competing, and also offload our contracts that are really just weighing us down and preventing us from doing any other moves. It makes a lot of sense to me. It's kind of a shot in the dark. I would say it's high risk, high reward for us. They get to save their money, and hopefully we can move on with our lives, being able to save a little bit more money and getting a new bat that's been in the postseason, that's won a World Series ring, that has some power, that can play a couple different positions. His biggest question is if he can stay healthy. Last year, that was not the case, but who knows? Maybe next year in a new team with a new environment, that could happen. All I do know, high risk, high reward getting Bryant, but I am 100% sure that Donaldson and Hicks will not work for us. So it's worth taking that risk. So let me know what you guys think in the comment. Leave a like on the video, and I'll see y'all next time.